Hi y'all, Christine Beyer here, licensed esthetician for 18 years, and I love showing this little thing. It should say Christine Beyer, right? I was talking to my assistant today, and I said, if you had a dream video, what would you want me to talk about? And she said facial exercises, because I think a lot of people start out with facial exercises and they think they're gonna get this perfectly lifted, unlined face, and that is not true, because doing facial exercises can actually etch in wrinkles deeper into our face. And let me explain before people bite my head off. We all know about fascia. If you've been following my channel at all, you know about fascia. And I just retook the facial contouring massage by Jane Mann. She's out in Vegas. Facial fascia is her life's work. She studies this ad nauseum and she knows a lot about it. So she was showing us this, and I thought this was really fascinating because this is a typical aging face. Now, if you had every single one of these wrinkles, that would be not great, but we start undoing all this. This is what I do in facial contouring massage. This is what I do with all my clients. This is why I'm booked solid. And so if you think about it, if you go in and, you know, fascia is multidimensional and it's 3D and it weaves through all the layers, and this is more of an idea of how fascia is distributed in our face, and it's just this mesh. And so if you think about etching that back in over and over by doing repetitive facial exercises, what's that going to do to your fascia? So what is the solution? You don't have to stop your facial exercises, although I would say I would get the mini in addition to doing facial exercises, because it seems like there's always that one place that you just can't quite get with facial exercises. And then I like to tell this story too. There can be some unintended results with facial exercises. I remember I was doing one for I thought my platysma, which is this muscle. I was doing these little exercises. They were like crunches for your neck. I think I was doing them right. But then about 2 weeks later, my husband was like, honey, what's going on with your face? You're looking a little bit square there. And I was like, I think I ended up inadvertently building up the muscles around my jaw. So that's not what we want to happen. So how can we fix these etched in facial expressions? Well, there's many ways. You can come to me and I'll do facial contouring massage, but a lot of times I'll break out my Anma, and Jane took a concept and tweaked it and made it better. She has her little fingers and the thumbs, and it's slightly off center, and do not accept fake imitations. She made this, put a lot of thought into this, that you can get up into the nooks and crannies. Let's say you have this muscle here that you're trying to work on, and I'm not sure what they would do to release that facial exercises. But if you are repetitively using that for any other exercise, like say the platysma, like you're trying to do that, you're gonna be inadvertently working these depressors. And so we wanna go in and release those, right? I mean, you don't wanna work them and then etch them into the 3D web that is your fascia. You don't want to etch that in, because it can over time restrict blood supply and lymphatic drainage. The skin, it just ages faster. So using the Anma will help undo all that. And so say you've got these depressing depressors and they're just really pulling you down. And so what I'll do on clients, there's a whole bunch of videos that Jane and I have done on YouTube on how to do the Anma, but specifically for these, I will go up underneath here. All right, because those depressors, they attach up underneath here. And then after I've released that, I would probably release the entire neck. And I would release the scalenes. And this is all stuff she taught us in her most recent version of the class, because all those muscles will pull down the neck. And releasing those helps all this pop up as well. You'll do that, and then I like to, and you'll probably want to do this either in the shower or wet skin or have some oil, but if you start it on dry skin, it sort of teaches you the corrective amount of pressure, because fascia, even though it has this 3D effect, it's very superficial. And if you go too deep, too quick, you're gonna miss it completely. You wanna go light always before you go heavier. And so I'll go in and start to release the depressing depressors. And fascia can be restricted in any direction. So I'll start here, I'll go do a little cross tissue massage, I'll go with it. You can do circles. I like to get this corner too, because there's a lot of, usually a ball there, because there's a lot of muscles that come together there. So sideways, up and down, diagonal. And you'll feel it, you'll be like, oh, wow. You know, there'll be certain angles where you feel a lot of release. Like this one for me, I feel a lot. So, yeah. So if you just work in a star formation, so this way, and both diagonals, and that will get it. So look at that side. When I smile, this is up higher. So I'll go in and do the other side. Not hard. Start out light. And I like how this is, do you see how that's kind of crooked? So you can get up underneath there without, I mean, it really gets into up underneath the jaw, which is where so many of these muscles get all dragged down, because the neck does this cantilever thing, you know, where the neck will pull in and down and pull the face down. So we don't want that to happen on a regular basis without doing something to counteract it. And I like to put my finger to anchor the skin. And this is a light pressure. I start out with some cross tissue massage. And then you just go whichever way you sort of feel it. This way for me. So, I should do before and after where I smiled. But this will get the depressing depressors, which put us into resting bitch face. That's short, not everybody. This will lengthen that back out and allow it to get fresh blood supply and just nourish those tissues and get them to stretch back out so that corners of our mouth pop back up and we look happy again. So consider when you're doing facial muscle exercises to combine it with the Anma or some form of myofascial release massage. And I've talked about this many times in my past videos. You can go back and check those. But really, we need to do something to counteract that, those lines that etch into our face over the years, these lines that 20s, 30s, you don't see them much. By 40s, 50s, and 60s, they're there. They are static, not dynamic, meaning that you see them all the time. And so we just need to start erasing them gently and help the face flow, because with all that fascia restriction, even if you go and have fillers, it's just not gonna look, or have a lift, it's not gonna look as good as it could. I mean, you think about people like Melanie Griffith and how bad she looked after her surgery, and I would love to get a hold of her face and just release all that fascia restriction and let her face flow. Sounds weird, but let her face breathe and get new blood and oxygen to every cell and every muscle and the skin on top of that. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now. Oh yeah, subscribe, and the Anma is available on my website, and there are plenty of videos that will show you how to use it. Thanks for watching. Bye.